Dear devotees, I can hear that you are still trying to figure the melody out. No problem. Just sing and make sure that when you sing Hare, your mind is totally with Hare. And so it is when you sing Krishna and Rama. Total presence is required. And you will see, when you surrender like this to the sacred holy names, they will do a miracle for you. Please do sing with strength. Hare Krishna, yes, yes. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hai bol. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. सब बोलिए कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा, हरे हरे राम, हरे राम, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, hey bo, hey bo, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Little louder if possible. Yes. Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Anil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandot
Yeah,
Pranam.
accept our obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can you do a quick favor? Just put a chat on Berks Bhakti Yoga website that the devotees should join, because right now there's only 3 of us on there now. So
Okay.
if you put a quick text, then
Okay,
once
sure.
you finish, just let me know and then we'll start.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah, I just posted the final reminder.
That's all right. That's wonderful. But go ahead and get started. There's a short introduction you're supposed to make, then I'll start.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Jai. Glory to Srila Prabhupada, Sapahama obeisances. And you, Prabhu, you can unmute yourself and do a short introduction.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. As we all know, Dhir Krishna Das Prabhu is traveling. We'll miss him and his leadership today. We hope that he may join us later. And with that, I take this great privilege to introduce our own Pariksit Das Prabhuji. He doesn't need any more introduction as he has helped us a lot before, and we hope that he will continue helping us, all of us, for Krishna consciousness. So with that little background, what we have covered so far, we have started glorious prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam series. In the last session, we covered prayers by Srila Vyasdev. In today's session, we will start with prayers by Arjuna from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7. Again, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, point 22, point 25. With that, I request Pariksit Das Prabhuji to take it over. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Vijana Vallabha Jaya Vijana Vallabha Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadhari Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yashodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Nitai Gora Chandra Nitai Gora Chandra Gora Hari Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gora Nitai Jaya Gora Nitai Jaya Puranitai, Jaya Puranitai, Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Hari Bora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bora Hari Bo. Jaya Om Vishnu Param Hansa Privacharya Stotara Sata Shishimaris Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shiva Upari Ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnu Param Hansa Privacharya Stotara Sata Shishimaris Divine Grace Shiva Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakumar Upari Ki Jai. Nanta Kudi Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Charja Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Ki Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Krishna Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhaktale Srimad Bhakti Tere Swami Namaste. Narayana Namaste Cha Naronche Vam Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Vadirayat Nashta Prayeswa Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhavatu Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Tap on the base and says, "Glory to Srila Prabhupada." So, as was announced by Anil Prabhu earlier, this is a series of prayers, and this time the prayers by Arjun, and beginning with the text on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, the text 22. So the text is Arjuna Vacha Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhirankara Tvam Eko Dahyamananam Apavalgo Sisam Site Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhyankara Tvam Eko Dahyamananam Apavalgo Sisam Site. So word for word, Arjuna Vacha, Arjun said, Krishna, O Lord Krishna, Krishna, O Lord Krishna, Mahabahu, he who is the Almighty, Bhaktanam of the devotees, Abhayankara, eradicating the fears of, Tvam, you, Eka, alone, Dahya Mananam, those who are suffering from, Apavarga, the path of liberation, Asi are, Samshite, in the midst of material miseries. Translation by His Evangelist Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "Oh my Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Report by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna, as he had already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and is especially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representation of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence. Oma Ginati Vidandasya, Gyana Gana Shalakaya, Chakshu Omritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Utapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha. Sri Rupa Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Saabadvitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostite. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Vishavan Sute Devi Panamami Hari Priya. Vanchaka Patrubhyascha Kripa Sindhivya Eva Chapatitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Shatayani. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gunachate Namaha. Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himaviri Vichavishindaraya Tasmi Mahaprema Raspadaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Hare Krishna. So this text one, this very first one, which is text 22, Canto 1, Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is entitled The Son of Drona Punished. So who is the son of Drona? That would be Ashwatham. So Arjuna is praying. So why does Arjuna start praying? So let's give a little bit of background. So the Kurukshetra war is finished, but then Ashwatham has committed a very grievous offense by going in the night into the camp of the Pandavas, Draupadi's children, the 5 sons of Draupadi from the Pandavas, since Draupadi was a wife of the Pandavas, they were sleeping, and so was Drishtadyumna sleeping. So he killed them. He, Ashwatham, killed them. And the next morning, it was clear what had happened. And Draupadi definitely was very upset about it, and so were the Pandavas. Whose arrows are these? They checked and found out that it was Ashwatham. Therefore, they set off, him and Krishna, Arjuna and Krishna, set off to go capture, arrest Ashwatam. And Ashwatam saw them coming and he tried to run away. He was on a chariot. His horses were trying to take him away, but Krishna's horses with Arjuna, they were gaining on Ashwatthama, and Ashwatthama was feeling that he was going to get caught because his horses were getting tired. And so means that Krishna's horses were pulling closer and closer, Krishna's chariot. And so he did the one thing to try to defend himself. He chanted the mantras for the Brahmastra. And the Brahmastra was present, and he caused the Brahmastra to give a very, 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 very intense effulgence in the sky. Arjuna saw it, and Arjuna realized that his life could very well be in danger. And so as a devotee, who does he turn to? Krishna. So he started praying to Krishna. And these are the prayers. There's a number of them. There's 4 texts of prayers. We'll see by the Lord's mercy how many we'll be able to cover. I'm just a servant. So this first one, Arjuna says, "Oh, my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only." Now, one thing that stands out, that devotees, pure devotees of the Lord, have on more than one occasion done this. And Arjuna has also done this. He's turned to Krishna. But he did not scream, "Krishna, help." He didn't start like that. He started with prayers to Krishna. The pure devotees of the Lord, when they even need help from the Lord, they will start by addressing him as the almighty personality of Godhead. They will start addressing the different energies that he has, and they will start by talking about how they are the servants of the Lord, or whatever relationship they have with the Lord. They will do that, they will bring that up, and then show confidence in the Lord's ability to deal with any situation before they even bring up a situation that they need help with. Now, we are trained to go straight to crying for help. But the pure devotees of the Lord, even when some things are serious and they're occurring, right there and then, rather than go straight to ask Krishna for help, they will talk about Krishna's glories first. Because Krishna himself has said in the Bhagavad Gita, "Time I am." He is time. He controls, he's the cause of all causes, as Lord Brahma says. Sarva karana karanam. Therefore, the timing of whatever is going to happen is under his control. So even though the Brahmastra was already up and it was a dangerous situation by all counts, still Arjuna is expressing confidence in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and even talking about fearlessness in a situation where it would strike fear in the hearts of so many people. Arjuna is countering it by praying that there is no limit to the Lord's different energies. He is unlimited in dealing with any situation. Therefore, devotees that put their hearts into serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead have every reason to be fearless, because the Lord instills fearlessness in the hearts of the devotees. He is the supreme protector. And if he decides to protect, nothing can happen to that devotee. What do we have to do? We have to be submitted in pure devotional service to the Lord. The pure devotional service has a definition in the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also in Bhagavad Gita, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about it in chapter 7, text 26. And he explains that pure devotional service is one that is performed without wanting any kind of payback. and it is also performed continuously. We give our hearts. We want to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead because we have to have the understanding as devotees that we are servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of the Supreme Lord. And the more we feel ourselves servants of a servant of a servant, the more humble. The humbler we are, and that is better, because humility is the first step to being a good fixed up devotee. Without humility, we cannot be that way. And when we are connected with the Lord like that, then fearlessness happens. It does not mean that danger can't occur, but we are guided from within. We are guided in different situations. The guidance comes in terms of do this, not do this, even the smallest things that are no big deal. Even that guidance comes for what to do and what not to do, so that the time is used very, very efficiently. And then one realizes now that his life or her life, depending on the gender, is in fact under the care of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a wonderful situation to be in, but the majority of people in the world are not Krishna conscious, and therefore they're doing business as usual, trying to solve things with their own ability. But the material world, the three modes, is difficult. It's difficult to deal with by ourselves. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of the Lord because he had already experienced them in the Kurukshetra war. Before the war started, Sri Krishna spoke to Arjuna what we know as the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna had the presence of mind to listen very, very intently and also ask very relevant questions. And then he also saw, on his own request, Krishna revealed the universal form to him, proving what he was saying he was going to do, that the soldiers on both sides were going to be slain, because then he saw the future, literally, through the universal form of all of these experienced generals going into the mouths of Krishna and being crushed. So Krishna was only asking Arjuna to be the tool to get the results to happen. We are like that also. We are being used. If we see ourselves as tools to help in the service of Krishna, then we are in the right consciousness. And why would the tool be fearful? The tool is fearless. We are servants. That's why it says here, Arjuna also is saying, a devotee of the Lord, Sri Prabhupada says in the purport, he's always fearless because of the protection given by the Lord. Material existence is difficult. We have taken so many things for granted. The way we live our lives, the houses, the job, the vehicles, and all of that, we are trying to manage within the material existence. And sometimes there's struggle. Sometimes problems come. And sometimes problems come uninvited. It's not even our fault, then it happens anyway. So this is a place that we go through tests, and we have to work hard in order to go on. Some people can have a little bit of this, for that matter, quite a number of people who are employed and can pay their bills, they have a little semblance of stability, but that can change at any time. So there is no telling, going from one to another, one situation to another, one moment to another. Not to mention the fact that one can leave the body at any time. At any time. Dangers around us all of the time. But Krishna is the one that gives protection. And therefore, we have to live life so that we connect with him later on, when we leave this body, to a place where there's no anxiety, there's no work, there's just service in love to the Lord, and then the Lord serves back in love to us. Loving exchange in different rasas, in different relationships. And through that, the process, The spiritual master plays a great role. As Papa is saying, spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. In many, many, many ways, he is. In Madhya Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, the purport of chapter 8, text 128, chapter 8, text 128, purport of Madhya Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada defines the three kinds of spiritual masters. The spiritual master that first gives information about spiritual life to a person, that's called the Vartma Pradakshika Guru. The Vartma Pradakshika Guru, the one that brings a person the first time, turns their attention towards Krishna consciousness. Then there is a spiritual master who initiates according to the regulations of a Shastra. That's called the Diksha Guru, who gives initiation. And then the spiritual master who gives instructions for elevation in Krishna consciousness, that's called the Shiksha Guru. So we have Vatma Pradakshika Guru, the one through which a person, through whom a person learns about Krishna consciousness for the first time. The spiritual master who gives instruction, that's called Shiksha Guru, and the one that gives initiation. Initiation is very, very important. This is all the mercy of a spiritual master. So the one that gives the first information that turns a person's mind through Krishna consciousness has literally given the mercy of the Lord to that person, because going forward, that person now will turn their attention towards Krishna consciousness and hopefully stop any other type of path that they were trying to get information for or trying to live by. So the Bhatma Pradakshika Guru is very, very important. And the spiritual master who initiates, that we have 8 steps for perfection to Krishna Prema. The first step we're all involved in, that is having faith in the Supreme Personality of God, Shraddha, faith in the Lord. Second is sadhusanga, as we're doing now, even though we're doing it electronically, but we are associating, devotee association. The third is bhajan kriya, be initiated by the spiritual master who is qualified to do the initiation. That is a formal connection to the parampara. And that is, it occurs with 2 contracts. Normally, devotees know about one. That one is the one that's very obvious during the initiation ceremony. The devotee is given the beads and told to chant a minimum of 16 rounds. That's already the mercy of the spiritual master, because a Vaishnava is supposed to chant 64 rounds, but Srila Prabhupada, by his mercy, it says minimum of 16 rounds. Then they obey the 4 regulative principles. They vow to do that. Then the spiritual master gives a name connected with Krishna consciousness to that person. And also lets that person know, now you are a servant of the Lord. Therefore, Das, when a man or male-bodied person, Dasi, when a female-bodied person. Now, that's one part of it. The devotee who's now a disciple of that spiritual master should obey the spiritual master's instruction. The spiritual master is going to guide that person. And that connects to the second contract. The second contract is not between the disciple. It's between the spiritual master and the spiritual world, the Lord's agents. Because the Diksha Guru, the initiating Guru, now is saying, by the initiation purposes and taking that disciple, is saying to the spiritual world that I'm going to be responsible for guiding that particular disciple back to the spiritual world, helping that disciple to be elevated in Krishna consciousness, to grow, to purify their consciousness, and to be of good service to other devotees, to Guru himself, other gurus, to the Lord by serving the deity, and being an overall good person who will in fact connect the type of character of those who are in the spiritual world. Learning Krishna consciousness and growing in Krishna consciousness by application of the Krishna consciousness principles gives us a chance to become like those who are in the spiritual world, even though we're in the material world. So it is practice for us to grow into the point where by The time we leave the body, we've gone. There were some mistakes made, of course. We're not perfect. We don't even have perfect senses, but still we serve to the point now Krishna will, in fact, look at the situation of that devotee in the presence of the Diksha Guru. This is after the person has lived the life. Now the soul has left the body, that means death has occurred. And now, what is the situation? Krishna is the one that decides whether the person goes back to the spiritual world or not. But the person that pleads the case for Krishna to give mercy to that particular disciple is the initiating spiritual master. So the initiating spiritual master guides while the person is alive, the disciple is alive here, and also speaks on behalf of the disciple to have Krishna decide what to do. Therefore, if we disobey the spiritual master, then what is the point of the spiritual master saying anything in our favor? We can't. We're not going to get that. Therefore, obeying the orders of the spiritual master is actually critical. Relating well to the devotees means we're going to relate well to those who are in the spiritual world. We're going to fit in properly. Therefore, relating well in love to the devotees, that is, for us, we express love by being of service, help others in all situations. As a matter of fact, the better helper is the one that whenever they hear a situation involving another devotee that needs help, they take that help as priority in their lives, and then they just work on it right away to help that other devotee. And put their own situations and things they have to do as secondary. They help the other devotee immediately. That is one that gets the Lord's attention. The more or the quicker we are to come to the aid in all kinds of ways of the devotee and serve that devotee, any devotee that's in needs some kind of help. It could be distress, just plain help that is needed. That devotee that acts that way, taking other devotees' situations as priority, will be very, 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 very fortunate, because Krishna is much, 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 much more likely to allow that person to go back to the spiritual world. So that is our situation, and we are fortunate that we know about Krishna consciousness. We can practice Krishna consciousness through the mercy of the Lord. The Lord's representative showers the mercy of the Lord on us. Now, the spiritual master is a person himself. Therefore, his willingness to guide us is also mercy from the spiritual master to us. So Srila Prabhupada says the person burning in the flame of material existence, they may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The wide transparent medium. The relationship between the devotee and the Lord is in fact what is. We have a relationship between ourselves and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because we are conditioned, we are connected to the modes of material nature in the material world, then the spiritual master guides us to improve our relationship, understand our relationship between the relationship, and act well within the relationship for ourselves and the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada gave an example. So a person that has difficulty seeing, they've got eyes, but they can't see so clearly because their eyes don't focus properly. And therefore, there are some things they want to be able to see or read, and they cannot. That person would need what? Glasses or spectacles, as it's called. You put it on, and there's an aim, there's an adjustment, and now things can be seen clearly. So the spiritual master acts like the glasses for the person. So the relationship is between the devotee and the Lord. The spiritual master plays that role. That is both Diksha and even Shiksha Guru. One that instructs, do it like this, do like this, do like this in Krishna consciousness. And when that person is doing it, then the heart is awakened more in the connection this is established better. The heart is awakened. Krishna consciousness is already in our hearts. The connection to the Lord, love of the Lord, Krishna Prema is in our hearts, but it's in a dormant stage. And Krishna consciousness, through the help and the mercy of the spiritual master, then the disciple or the devotee can be awakened to understand his true constitutional position, where he belongs. We don't belong here in the material world. Our home is in the spiritual world. We are not these bodies. And all the names that were associated with the body is not us. If a person leaves the body and comes back in another body, next life, they get a different name. Next life, they get a different name. Same soul. Next life, they get a different name. So which name is really us? The soul has the name that's in the spiritual world. That name never changes. But we're in the material world using different bodies and different names. So that's not our situation. So we have to go back. The spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject transcendental knowledge. And that will quell the fire of material existence. Then we get detached from materialism. Now, before I go to the next one, are there any questions the Buddhists may want to ask? If not now, we can do also towards the end of this this class or this Bhagavatam. Okay, so we'll go to the next one. So Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, Text 23. Tvam adya purusha sakshat ishvara prakrite para payam vyudasya chich chatya kaivalye stita atmani. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So this is Arjuna continuing to speak. You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. The original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over. So Arjuna was telling Krishna, I know your identity. You are the original. The Lord has so many energies, many expansions, but the original is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita that the one who surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord can get release from the clutches of nations. Krishna is just like the sun, and Maya, or material existence, is just like darkness. Whenever there is the light of the sun, darkness or ignorance at once vanishes. The best means to get out of the world of ignorance is suggested here. The Lord is addressed herein as the original personality of Godhead. From him, all other personalities of Godhead expand. The all-pervasive Lord Vishnu is Lord Krishna's plenary portion. Lord Vishnu is plenary portion or expansion of Lord Krishna. The Lord expands himself in innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings, along with his different energies. But Sri Krishna is the original primeval Lord, from whom everything emanates. The all-pervasive feature of a Lord experienced within the manifested world is also a partial representation of a Lord, Paramatma. And the Paramatma is therefore included within him. He's the absolute personality of Godhead. He has nothing to do with the actions and reactions of material manifestation because he's far above the material creation, even though it's through him the material creation comes to be. So darkness is a perverse representation of the sun, and therefore the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness. So as the sun is full of light only, similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead beyond the material existence is full of bliss. He's not only full of bliss, but he's also full of transcendental variegatedness. Transcendence is not at all static, but full of dynamic variegatedness. He, the Lord, is distinct from material nature which is complicated by the three modes of material nature. He is Parama, he is the chief. Therefore, he is absolute. He has many, many types of energies, innumerable. And through his diverse energies, he creates, manifests, maintains, destroys. He even has pastimes, different times he comes. In his own abode, however, everything is eternal and absolute. And the world is not conducted by the energies and powerful agents by themselves, but by the potent, all-powerful with all the energies. The potent, all-powerful Lord with all his energies. So there's so much Srila Prabhupada teaches in here. Arjuna says, you are the original personality of Godhead, who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to the material energy. The Lord is spiritual. And he's situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. Lord Brahma says, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, and his body is full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Anadi Adi Govinda, he's the original. He has no birth, but he's the birth of everyone. Sarva Karana Karana, he's the cause of all causes. So the Lord's position is never to be attained by anyone. He's Asamodva. Nobody can be at his level or beyond his level. And he's like the sun, as Srila Prabhupada describes here. And Maya is like darkness. And Srila Prabhupada says the sun, light, and darkness are side by side. The sun is not present, immediately there's darkness. When the sun is present, darkness cannot prevail. So Krishna is like the sun, and Maya is like darkness or ignorance. When Krishna is present, darkness cannot prevail. So when we connect to Krishna, then our world is a world of light. There is no ignorance, there is no darkness. And when we practice by associating with devotees, then we stay in the light and not in the darkness. So the Lord is the original personality, the primeval Lord. Everything comes from the Lord. So even the expansions, the Vishnu expansions are all from the Lord. And those people who are very, very, very devoted to the Lord will give the understanding by which they can come to him. And that is in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 10. Tesha sasatam yuktanam bhajata pritipuvakam dadami buddhi yugam tam yenamam upayantite. So the translation is, those who are constantly devoted to serving Krishna with love, he will give the understanding by which they can come to him. Arjuna is already connected with Krishna, and he's showing how wonderful Krishna is by describing the all-pervasive nature of the Lord. So there are so many references in the Shastra that talk about Krishna. And for the rest of the time we have here, we'll say a little bit about the different types of incarnations of the Lord, since Arjuna has said that there is so many innumerable forms of Godhead and living beings with different energies, but Krishna is the original. So in Garga Samhita, Narada Muni is speaking to a great devotee of the Lord who is a king. He's called King Bahulaspa, and he's from Mithila in India. So he asked, King Bahulaspa asked Narada a question about how frequently the Lord comes to the material energy, material world. And Narada Muni describes that there are forms of the Lord, and there are 6 altogether. Amshamsha, which is part of a part, and an Amsha, which is part, and Avesh, which is when Krishna enters, the energy enters into a jiva. Kala, a full part. Purna is full, and Paripurnatama, most full. Now, so there are parts, and then there are parts of the parts, And then there's one situation where Krishna can enter the energy, go into a jiva, playing the role then of the Lord, just like the Lord himself would do, but it's a jiva, flesh and blood, like we are. And then Kala and Purna, 4, and then Paripurnatama. Now, there is so much that Adamuni explained, but we'll say some of it, so I'm looking at the time also. Not all 6 of them. I'd like to describe all 6, but we won't have time to go through all of those. So the full incarnations, Kala, some of them we know Shringa, Nrsingadev, Lord Ram, Lord Hari, the ruler of Svetadweep, Yagyavata, Narayan, those are 4, the Purna, which is the 4. Now, the Paripuratama form of the Lord, that is most 4. Most 4 is Krishna himself. So there are incarnations, the Kala incarnations, as I said, some of it, they come with different millenniums, and they teach the principles of religion, so that those are there. And of course, the Purna incarnations, they are also, we have given some examples, Shringa, Ram, so sometimes they come to protect the devotee, or they have a particular pastime they involve themselves in, but they are 4 of the Lord, 4 incarnations, and the most 4 is Lord Sri Krishna himself. So there's even a part in the Gaga Samhita where the demigods were given a nice, for lack of better word, we'll use an American word, a nice show. Krishna showed himself as a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Paripuratama, full. And this was also the conversation still, Narada is describing to King Bhaurashva. This was a situation where, and I'll tell the story in the short form of it, that Madhabhumi was being disturbed very much by the demons who were taking control of things on the earth, and sacrifices were not being done. So many things were going wrong. So he took the form of a cow and went to Lord Brahma to complain. Lord Brahma took her, Madhabhumi, to see Lord Vishnu. The Lord Vishnu and demigods followed also. They came with Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma was told by Lord Vishnu that yes, there can be a solution to Madhabhumi's problem, but it will be handled by the Lord himself, Lord Krishna. Therefore, you can go to Goloka and see Lord Krishna. And so Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, the demigods, Lord Shiva was part of it. They all went through the hole that was made by Vamana. Vamana Dev, his big toe punched the hole in the spiritual world when the Ganga water even came through that. So that was the way in which they were shown to go to Goloka Vrindavan. So they got a long story short, there's so much description is given as they were going, they were looking back and they saw the material world and the different universes bobbing up in the Gaba Ocean. It was just so much that they saw, the Karna Ocean, sorry. And they were very surprised, but they made it there. And the Lord, in his original form, Krishna and Radha, they saw them. And before they could explain why they had come, Krishna decided to show what we are discussing here in a very, very, very stark and unique way. So as the demigods were looking on, as Lord Vishnu was there, and Lord Brahma was all looking on, different forms of the Lord came. 8-armed master of Vaikuntha, he appeared and he merged into the body of Lord Krishna. Then the ferocious and powerful Sringadev, he also appeared, very effulgent, like millions of suns. He also merged into Krishna. This is all the demigods looking on. Then the master of Svetadweep, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, he appeared, decorated with 1,000 arms, big chariots, splendid, very, 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 very shiny and drawn by 100,000 horses. And he merged into Krishna. So Lord Ram came with Sita and armed with bows and arrows, wonderful golden chariot, effulgent like 100 million suns. This is all being described in Garga Samhita. He came and he also merged into Krishna. Then Lord Yagya, who's known as Narayan and Hari, he also came with his consort Dakshin, and they merged into the dark form of Krishna. Then Lord Narayan, with eyes large, came with 4 arms, dressed like a sage, and his matted hair like a lightning flash. He came and he merged into Krishna. So the demigods saw all of these incarnations of the Lord in the different categories come and merge into Krishna. So they saw proof that Krishna is the original. Krishna is the original. And so as the Lord is being prayed to by Arjuna, before even the situation of having to deal with the Brahmastra that's thrown by Ashwatam, the Lord was praised very wonderfully based on his power and the fact that he was the original, and then all the incarnations are from him. So when he comes to the material world, that means all the incarnations are within him also. And in different ways, he does millions of different pastimes, some of which are described in the Shastra. But the Shastra doesn't describe all of it. The pastimes in the Lord, and when the Lord comes to the material world, Lord Krishna is limitless. For example, when he was little, and when he was in the move to Vrindavan, and when he was herding a cow, 6, 7 years of age, with a cowherd voice, and the cow was a lot of them, every day, not a few times of Agasura, Bakasura, no, every day, Kansa sent a demon almost close to 12 in the afternoon. They'll come. And they will come with an aim to try to take the life of Krishna. And Krishna will fight them in a unique way and kill them. So clearly there were so many more demons than is even described in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. The Lord's activities are wonderful, and we as minute parts and parcels of the Lord need to hear this and need to make a very solemn vow to continue Krishna consciousness, because it is for our own good. And when Krishna says that everything that we do for him, do as an offering to him, it is in fact for our own welfare, for our own happiness, because he's all-pervading Lord and all things are included in him. So we are fortunate by the mercy of the spiritual master, the founder of Acharya Srila Prabhupada, to know Krishna and to learn about Krishna to the extent that we're doing now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. So devotees, if you have any questions, normally this is the time we stop. It's around 8:30, so we'll break now. For any questions or realizations, or if you want to talk about some, takeaway that you have, we have all together, we are 8 participants, intimate, nice group of people. Please, unmute yourself or type something in the chat if you want to, and make some comment. That would be nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So anyone for comment? Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
if nobody has any question, our Devendra Das, Dhir Krishna Das Prabhuji is also here. But I thank you so very much, Pariksit Das Prabhu. I really appreciate taking time for today's session. I would request you again to continue guiding us, to take us to Krishna consciousness by keeping always in touch with Lord Shri Krishna and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thanks a lot. And
Krishna.
thanks to all
Jai.
devotees. Thanks for
Jai.
attending.
Vanchakalpataruvesya kripa sindhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dear Krishna Prabhu, did you want to say something? I see you on mute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances.
Self
All
mind,
good,
God
Srila
Shri
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada. Yeah.
Thank you, Anil Uncle. Big help by coordinating and hosting this call. Thank you so much, Uncle. I really appreciate that. And Prabhuji, one question maybe I have is, as we are going through this journey of discussing and hearing the prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, what should be our mood so that we can really, such a beautiful nectar. I mean, I never thought, prayers by Arjun could be so exemplary. I mean, of course, he's exemplary devotee, but so much to learn from how he's praying and how he's understanding the Supreme Lord in the mood. So what should be our mood as we go through these so advanced prayers, and what can we take away from these prayers?
A number of things have been said regarding this question. It's been asked by other devotees in a different lecture. And from what I remember, the prayers by pure devotees are very potent. We can pray in our own way by asking, the Lord to help us in devotional service. But sometimes, it's even better, he said, I forget which sannyasi was saying this, that we repeat the prayers of the pure devotees of the Lord, because they have greater realization than we do. And so those of us, because pure devotees can't compare to conditioned souls, even though we're all connecting with Krishna, but they are at a higher growth and level, or even pure level, that have not been contaminated at all. So when they speak about the Lord, or pray to the Lord, and describe the attributes of Sri Krishna, and we repeat it, that will have an effect on our consciousness. And therefore, as we are praying in our particular situations that happen, sometimes we put in front of the spiritual master, in prayer to him, and in prayer, sometimes we pray to the deity. Actually, we're supposed to serve the deity and pray to the spiritual master. That is the order, that we get inquiries from him. But we should always feel fortunate. The fortune is we have Krishna consciousness as the main part of our lives. We have a material life, but with that consciousness, that we are fortunate to join the Krishna consciousness movement and be part of the journey back home, back to Godhead, that fortune should be clear in our minds. And so as we're praying, there should always be that prayer of gratitude. Gratitude should be that whenever we start praying in any kind of situation, we should express our gratitude that we are involved in Krishna consciousness. Then we can put our prayer before the spiritual master and ask for kinds of help that direct us and get us into growth and more purification in Krishna consciousness. Growth in Krishna consciousness, more purification in Krishna consciousness, to open our hearts so that we can serve and be glad to serve. Be glad to serve. All of these things, they take time for some people. Some people are at that point, and some people are, well, we're trying to do the best that we can. And some people are, well, we do some things and then the rest of it's business as usual. But actually, our attention should be fully on the Lord, and everything else should be a distant second, a very distant second, because the Lord protects us. The Lord does everything for us. And when we understand that, then we become fearless, and then you see that Krishna controls our lives. So in our prayers, gratitude first before we ask anything else. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very, very, very helpful. Thank you.
Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. Thanks for the question. Any more questions? Okay, Anil Prabhu, maybe we can end now.
Okay, again, thank you all. Thank you all the devotees for attending today's session. And, special thanks to you, Pariksit Das Prabhu. Thank you for, today's session. I appreciate it.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare,
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vinamata Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.